All right, we are live. Let me just get that tweeted out here real quick. Oh boy, hope everybody had a great trading day today. It was there was a few stocks that really moved today. I mean, CGC off the game plan. Twitter had a move today. Even after what do they have, double upgrade or something like that. They had a bit of a move. A lot. Some of the wellness stocks. There was some stocks that popped today, so that was pretty interesting. But overall, the market was pretty choppy, right? So SPX is only up 11 points. SPY was up less than $1. Qs were up less than 50 cents. So let's go to the SPY or the SPX, S&P Cash, and just kind of see what's going on here. Overall market, right? Just a quick recap. We have the entire 2018 was in this channel, right? Had a big run up, through most of the year. And then boom, this flash down move here for potential wave 1, right? And then ABC for wave 2, right? And this is a potential wave 3, and then here we are. Goodness gracious, either wave 4 or potentially a wave 2 of a larger wave 3. But we still have that low at 2603.54, and the high today was 25.97, so only 6 points away, but couldn't quite take out that wave 1 low. So that sort of leaves this as potentially intact as a wave 4, but certainly needs to make a decision here, right? So yesterday it was a spinning top right around the Pitchfork median line, and today it kind of thrust right through it. So moving averages are pointing up. Golden cross with the 5 MA through the 10 MA, so it's looking pretty strong, right? So it has to reverse and make its next descent. So really bringing it down the wire, right? But futures are down, so we'll see if that stays overnight. I mean, there's anything could happen tomorrow. It's Friday, right? And normally Fridays are pretty boring days, but for the last couple months, Fridays have been pretty interesting. So we might get a move of some sort tomorrow. We'll see. So it should be pretty interesting. Other than that, today I wanted to thank everybody for joining all week with the Elliott wave tutorial. I know we got a bunch of new folks that have been jumping on the live stream this week, and my good friend Clayton recommended maybe on Sunday. I've got a couple requests for Sunday. One request is or a few requests is to go over the Orb Method a little bit more detail on Sunday. So we'll do that, and then also just the kind of the idea of kind of take out all the indicators and everything. Pick a stock, it might be like a FANG stock, take out all the indicators and everything, just kind of show different methodologies that I use just from scratch, and kind of build the chart, kind of talk about it, and then maybe even kind of do like an on-demand, like kind of trade it live, how I trade a couple different techniques and stuff. So we'll pick something like that on Sunday. I think that'd be pretty fun, just kind of go through that. So we'll take a look at all the different methodologies. So today is kind of in a similar tone. Kind of want to go over the different methodologies of that you can combine with Elliott Wave, right, to put some trades together. And so so one of the main things is to asking yourself, hey, how do I identify a wave, right? I mean, obviously we've looked at if you've been following the $550,000 challenge on Twitter, you see we get down, and we'll pull that up right here right now. We'll pull up McDonald's. You see that I go down to the 15-minute time frame, and I start kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of the waves, and but you don't always have to go to the short-term time frame, right? It always helps to go to start at the bigger term time frame, right? So it's the same thing I like to do with the candles, on Twitter. So bigger term time frame, it gives you kind of a look at the overall trend. So in this case, right, overall trend of course is up, right? So and then weekly trend, up, right? Still makes sense, right? And then daily trends kind of breaks it down, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 was a triangle, fifth wave up, makes sense, and then corrective phase. And so the reason that we and this is sort of putting it all together. This is kind of showing you why I took this trade, right? So it's and why I'm still in it, right? Because with this wave 5 ending, right, it hit a notable peak around 190. And then from there you can do all sorts of stuff. Like you can take the indicators, right? A lot of times indicators help to show where wave 5 is versus wave 3. So a lot of times you'll see like a RSI divergence. In this particular case, doesn't really show that with the. Let me see if I can get a better picture here. So wave 3 would have ended here, right? And you can see there was a an oversold position. Let me see how close those are. Yeah, I mean that kind of helps, right? So if wave 3 here, you do see a negative divergence there. So that's another clue. So this is just one of the clues that you can use. So it's higher to lower on those oversold locations. So that kind of is another confirmation that you've got the right wave, right? So that's another example of putting things together using the using these tools and indicators to help verify your location, right? Or verify your waves, your wave count. So that helps, right? Another thing too we can use, and as you guys know, I use a lot of Andrew's Pitchfork just because it's super effective, right? And so that was one of the kind of an interesting reason here. Now, originally, if you guys were followed before I started the $50,000 challenge, I originally went long McDonald's right about here, right? And so why did I do that? Well, a couple reasons, right? So I had a big McDonald's Pitchfork right here, right? McDonald's Pitchfork, and basically, and there was a gap to fill, right? So these, if you combine multiple trading techniques, Elliott wave can be a lot more effective. Otherwise, all you're doing is labeling numbers, and you can get lost in all the different subwaves, right? So sort of like this, right? It's a big kind of mess. But the first trade to go long in McDonald's was pretty sensible, right? Because it was a wave 1. It was a sensible wave 5 up, right? Based on RSI divergence, based on kind of a count, right? And so it was starting to come down, right? And so here, you kind of start your count. You're like 1, 2. Where is it going to finish, right? Well, there's been an open gap on McDonald's down here after earnings, right? So we pay attention to earnings and former dates, right? So we know that there was a gap here, and so it was pretty sensible, for it to at least come down at that point to hit. Now, if you had caught the wave 3, it would have been a good idea to short there and at least take it to the gap. But then usually at gaps you can, unless it blows right through it, but for the most part, you can see gaps as once it fills it, it would be, some sort of resistance level, right, or support. So it did. It became support, and I went long here, and I tweeted out that I went long. Of course, this is before the $50,000 challenge. This is back at, Christmas. Day after Christmas type situation, right? And so, so filled the gap. It was like 169-ish or something like that, and then started to go up. And so, made a little bit of money that in like one day, and decided to get out. But could have held certainly, and but just with all the craziness in the market those days, it just made sense to just take profit. So anyway, so you look at that, and then you're like, how do you develop where you're going? Well, as you guys get the books and read more about Elliott wave, right? That if that waves, we talked about, the corrective waves, right, that ABCs, and we talked about McDonald's particularly yesterday, that if we can count a 5 wave down, right, that means it's a zigzag, right, because the only thing that starts with 5 waves in a corrective phase is 5, 3, 5, right, zigzag. And so it made sense that once this filled the gap, right, that we're working on a zigzag up. Well, this is 5 ways down. Well, this has to be 3 up. And so, you can kind of see a little bit better on the hourly time frame, but it just kind of looks like, right, A, B, C, right? And then it looks like, so once that's done, right, one of the rules of zigzags is that they, I've shown this to you before, but here you duplicate this, bring this down here, and it should be about the same length of wave, the first zigzag length. So that's where I came up with these ideas. Now it's kind of stalled out here for a little bit, which has been pretty annoying, and was pretty much expecting it to get a decent drop, at least down to 170 before earnings. So I still think it can do it, right, or it can get pretty close. The only thing is trying to figure out what it's doing right here, right? So zigzag is going to be 5, 3, 5. So you had 5 down, right? ABC, right? 3 up, and then and it needs to be 5 down now. And so now I'm just trying to figure out the count of how we're getting to this 5. And so initially you could kind of look at it and just be like, oh, that's 5, and this is like, A from this level, it might have been 1 was starting, right, and then ABC, for 2. Right, and so I keep saying, hey, we're going to start 3 here pretty soon, but we have to, yeah, well, it's fine. I mean, it could be a sensible wave 2. It hasn't crossed over that wave 5. And this is why, so you guys know why I had that initial stop at 183.50, is I gave it a point. You know, I was like, okay, well, if this is the top of wave 5, right? Wave 2 on the down move is not, you know, it can't go over that first leg of wave 1, however you slice it and dice it, right? And so here it didn't, right? So it's still, the structure is still in place for this to work. It's just I just kind of obviously, you know, since I'm doing it publicly, you know, and even if I were to do it privately, I would want it to work a little bit faster. And it's kind of funny because I was joking because, you know, that first day where we were in this, you know, it was profitable, you know, pretty quickly. Now, normally when I'm day trading, I'll take my profits right away. And if it doesn't, you know, if I miss a big move, no big deal, I take profits. And this is why I tweeted out the first day. I was like, you know, if you guys want to take profits, go ahead, you know, but this is part of the challenge, so I'm going to try to get this to make the biggest move possible, right? I'm not just going to be scalping for this thing, right? So I have to, you know, stick to the move. So I basically came up with a potential future wave count here. I think we're working on this impulsive wave down, right? So this was 1, this is 2, and so now it's just kind of, all right, what's it doing? Is it 1, 2, and then going to do a mini, you know, subwave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then finish up with the major or the bigger wave 3, 4, 5, right? And then, you know, and then the potential another spike down to get to finish that wave C count there. So I still feel pretty good about it. Futures are going to be down tomorrow. You know, maybe we'll have a huge down day tomorrow, and then this will just be the correct count, and we're good to go. So just got a little bit dicey here. So we'll see. And you know, I moved the stop down. At this point, the stop is what I think I just put it right above wave 5 right here, and that was the high here is 182.29, so I did 1 penny above it, right? If it goes above that, then, you know, this count is all jacked, right? It's it invalidates it. So, you know, I just did it like a penny above it. So I'm like, if it goes over 182.30, I'm done, right? So that just so you guys know, that's where what the thought process is here. And it looks pretty good, right? So kind of a little mini triangle here, made the B, and then, you know, C for wave 2, and then, you know, I think it's ready. And hopefully these the futures in the market support the thesis here. So that's kind of just an example of, you know, putting, you know, the whole trade together, using different, you know, tools, you know, and that was kind of another thing I wanted to talk about too, is, you know, how do you know where to start an Elliott wave? And really the trick is just, you know, pull up any chart, right? And when we do our chart requests and stuff, you know, just pull up any chart and find a, you know, a major high and a major low, and, you know, just kind of start from there, right? And so here, right, the idea is this is kind of like the all-time high for Amazon, right? And so, you know, it looked like, you know, potentially this was the start of the wave down, right? And, you know, it could have been like some sort of like, you know, A, B, C, you know, or anyway, so I figure this is like wave 1 down somehow, and this is wave 2, or the case is, you know, it's a pretty good retracement of that. So this is your double top, right? And then, you know, then you kind of work for, you know, something else, or you could have, and the way I did this count here, but it got all jacked up after Amazon did this thing, you know, I made that the original wave 1. So this could have been, you know, 2, and this could have been, you know, a wave 3 down, and then A, B, C 4, and this could have been 5, right? So I originally started my count here. Maybe I should have started it here, like I just did. You know, here I'm teaching you. But yeah, so so 3, A, B, C, 4, and then 5, you know, impulsive wave 5, and then now it's correcting. And here it looks like it's correcting potentially in like a zigzag pattern, right? So this could be some sort of extended, you know, wave 5 up. It could come down, so 5, and then A, B, C down, right? That's why I said, you tweeted earlier, it could go down to 1550, and then, you know, and then it might do another zigzag back up, right? And then just sort of, you know, go to all new all-time highs. So that's one example of combining together. And of course I have the pitchfork in place here. So it just gives you more structure and more, you know, kind of observation of, you know, what's going on there. So, yeah, so that's that. Just trying to think of anything else. Obviously we talked about Fibonacci's yesterday. A couple other things too is, one of the big things, you know, that you see, you know, when you learn chart patterns and stuff, and I've talked about it before, but when you see a head and shoulders pattern, right? And so y'all know the head and shoulders pattern. You know, basically, you know, shoulder, head, right, shoulder, you know, type thing. And this one's kind of little bit funky. It's got a steep, right shoulder and a low left shoulder, a little bit of a hump there. So it's not the perfect example. But when you see something like that, there's a couple ways you can interpret it in Elliott wave. If somebody, even if you see something on Twitter, in FinTwit, where somebody says like, oh, look at this head and shoulders patterns. Well, if you look at that, right, that could be a end of a wave 5, right? So this could be, for instance, like the end of a, 3, 4, 5, and then A, B, C. And so that is this is like even contained within here is a head and shoulders pattern. So so try to start, thinking about that when you see standard patterns out there that people call out or that you're learning about in your books, that those patterns might be part of an Elliott wave, right? So an Elliott wave pattern that you can use and then, kind of analyze that a little bit further. Double tops too, like a lot of times, you can see you can see like 5 and then, some sort of like A, B, C type thing, right? So on double tops, and of course, I wanted to show you Netflix real quick. I tweeted this out earlier. Well, look at what Netflix has been doing, right? In this last move up, right? This big push that it's had, and we studied this before the big break, right? We looked at it, when it was back here, right? So we're like, okay, it's not going over this triangle, et cetera, et cetera. It's pivoting, right? It's right here at the pitchfork median line, right? It looks like it could go down, but then it boom gaps up, right? So it kind of throws us for a loop. And even there, it's kind of hard to see. Like, it's hard to predict that this thing's going to keep going higher, right? So you just, in those cases, you just have to, dig in, go to your 60-minute chart, and use that to your advantage, and trade 60-minute breaks, right? And we looked at that, a couple of 60-minute breaks over here, like a Friday or two Fridays ago. Nice break. That was pretty profitable. It was like a lotto ticket. It was like a 10 times move on a lotto ticket, right? And so we'll look for stuff like that tomorrow too. I'll be trading live at the open tomorrow as well, so just to see if we can catch anything. Not too many. I didn't see really any big inside 60 anchors. Mostly a bunch of spinning tops, so it's not very exciting. So I'm not 100% sure what we're going to be seeing in the morning. So but we can still use those as anchors too. And of course we've got some pretty cool 15-minute orbs and some 30-minute orbs to look at. So that should be interesting. But here you can see this 5-wave up, right? What does this look like? When I was like looking at it, I was like, well, it kind of is doing this thing, and well, maybe this is an ending diagonal, right? So we know that we talked about yesterday, this is probably a 5th wave extension, and it was really close to this 161.8 Fibonacci extension, so it makes sense as 5th wave. And I'm like, well, why is it kind of doing this? Well, it looks kind of like a rising wedge pattern, right? And or an ending diagonal, which is a fib. So when you see those wedges, ask yourself, if you're not doing Elliott wave ahead of time, ask yourself, it's a rising wedge or a falling wedge. Well, is it part of an impulsive wave, or a 5th wave, or is it the beginning, right? Is it the beginning of something? Maybe it's a leading diagonal, right? But obviously this is at the end of this move, so if anything, it's an ending diagonal, right? So it's this rising wedge. So we'll look, tomorrow, if this is the market comes down, boom, you might see a break to the downside, right? And so it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell a little bit longer term what the whole structure is right here. It had this kind of this start. Netflix was a little funky the way it started, because it went down, then it gapped up huge, and then it went down again. So it was a little bit funky to try to catch the correct wave count on this. But if we looked at this, right, this could have been, this is the top, right? So this could have been 1. This could have been like some A, B, C for 2. So 1, 2, right? And this could have been, 3, certainly. And this could have been like an A, B. This looks like a zigzag, right? So 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 5, right? So some sort of one. This is a little bit tough, right? So it could have been an extended one, but either way, it looks like some sort of zigzag up, right? So 4, right? So 3, A, B, C. So 4, and then this could have been your, kind of your wave, really impulsive wave 5 down, and obviously it's not the 3 is not the shortest, right? Because 1 was right here, so this could have been a wave 5, right? So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then some sort of like 3, 4, 5, type situation. Maybe that was your final 5th, right? Maybe it's over, right? So the whole wave is, however you counted it, this could be the bottom, right? This 230 was it, and then boom, now it's working on its its corrected pattern. So 5 waves up, right? In a corrective pattern, right? We know this move is done, so this is corrective. So it should ABC down, right? So ABC down, and then it looks like it'll probably do another corrective move to the upside, potentially. And we can see that, right? We can see, oh, here's earnings. When are they coming? They're coming at 11:17. So A, B, earnings are bad. C, right down here maybe. And then, okay, well, they're not that bad, right? And then you can see it zigzag, 5 waves up again, So we'll keep an eye on that and see what it does, because it is pretty interesting. And other than that, so let me think. Triangles, we talked about triangles. We know they occur in wave 4 or wave B. And we talked about using RSI, combining that to help find wave, significant wave tops and bottoms. Yeah, and that's pretty much kind of putting it all together and using the different trading techniques, like using your Pitchfork as reference points and using action-reaction lines. And you can do other stuff too. You can use Bollinger Bands, right? Like so, you can use whatever tool, whatever indicator you're comfortable with. You can incorporate with Elliott waves, right? Elliott waves alone, if you take all the indicators out, it's just kind of raw price, type stuff. But if you can throw in a couple of moving averages, if you like trading moving averages, you could, whatever your favorite indicator is, trend lines, things like that, and channels are very common with Elliott wave. So, just for instance, there's a channel here. So, again, if that wedge breaks and it breaks to the downside, right, it's also a channel break to the downside. So, just little things like that you can combine together. Anytime you can take multiple ideas that are consistent, in trades that are, known to be consistent for you, and then can combine them, right, it only makes your trading stronger, right? The probability of having a good trade even better, right? So, so that's kind of that. And in the process of it, we got to review McDonald's. I mean, we're down, but or I'm down, however you want to look at it, but not too significantly. I think it's salvageable. I think it was a good, we have our stop in. If it's if we get stopped out, it's a great learning process, and we'll just have to wait for the next best setup, right? Roku, for instance, it could be interesting. We've got a balance, tradable balance of 170. So Roku might be a good, double inside day strategy for tomorrow. Potentially with a, maybe we could do it with $100, on a, just for a quick scalperoo, because I'll be trading from home tomorrow, so it might be easier to tweet out, a bubblehead 50K trade. So we've got this double inside day here. If we gap down, right, we look at our Elliott wave. It could have been, this was, definitely a bottom, right? So it's ABC correcting up, or is it, it's pretty steep here, so it could have been, 1, right, 2, right, 3, 4, and it might want a 5th wave up, right? So we know our 200 moving average is right here. So obviously it looks like we're going to gap down, but if the market gets strong, right, just sort of like the last time, might want to essentially tag its 5-day moving average, and then it might push. We usually look to hopefully preserve some profit here at 50%, at least move stops up, and then if it breaks here to the upside, 42, you could get, another push to the upside. So potentially, from 40, potentially all the way up to 44, it could be a 4-point move. It can get, if it can get through this volumetric resistance area here, right? You can see X right there, and this, but you can see we're using this to our advantage, right? We know this looks like a, potential zigzag up, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like it might try a little 5th wave up, possibly get through here and push up to 46. So that could be an interesting trade for tomorrow, and it's also kind of demonstrates combining using Elliott wave to put it all together. So that's pretty much all I got. So at this point, if anybody has any questions about Elliott wave or questions in general, or chart requests, go ahead and you can plop them in the chat window, and I'll get through that. And and then I'll see you guys. Of course, I'll see you guys tomorrow at the open, and I'll trade live and kind of walk through any trades I take, if I take one, right? So it just depends, and kind of go from there. So appreciate everybody getting through this week. I hope y'all learned at least a little bit or picked up something new, and so yeah, hope it benefits everybody. Samir, what's going on? Modern Picasso, what's going on, man? Appreciate you. Matt S, what's going on? Let's see, Samir, we're going to MDB and APPN. MDB. We'll see how it looks on the daily since we're here. Ooh, that one got hit. That took a beating today. Was there any news on it? Downgrade. Stays positive amid AWS attack. Oh, it got Amazoned. Gotcha. All right, so it got Amazon today. That's interesting. That could be an interesting one. That didn't, I've never traded this one before, but I've seen it before. That would have been a good 15-minute orb today potentially. If let's just look at the 15 orb. It was okay. It didn't really work to the upside, but if you took it downside here, it was good from 76 down to 72, so a 4-point move later in the day, right? So that was interesting. So that was your 15 orb reference point, right? You could have scalped it to the upside here, from 80 to 81, so you could have scalped it for a point here, and then obviously later in the day you could have took it down there. So tomorrow that would be interesting on a 30-minute orb. I don't know how it trades, if they do like weekly options or how spready they are. Let's just take a look real quick. Yeah, they do monthlies. The spreads aren't too bad, and there's some volume and everything, so it's tradable. Nice profits on the puts today. Goodness gracious. But yeah, definitely worth watching. I could add that to the 30-minute orb list for tomorrow too. So just so we can keep eyes on it. So that was a good one. But overall, it looks pretty, potentially bullish, right? So it's got a nice chart. See if it gets back in the Pitchfork range, and see if we can push a little bit higher. And so it could be interesting tomorrow. In terms of wave, like 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, 4, and 5. So there's your fifth wave. So it could be working down too, right? So 1, A, that could be your B, could work its way up tomorrow, C, and then so for 2, and then boom, down. So it is definitely something to keep an eye on. So this is a very interesting setup here. And then what else was the other one? So MDB and APPN. Looks like we looked at this one recently. Yeah, nice. On the Pitchfork, broke out through the Pitchfork. So to see how it holds these levels, these 28, see if it holds 2860, and then consolidates and gets you a little bit higher on it. This is a recent top. This could have been like your 1, ABC 2, 3, ABC 4. This could have been 5, and it could be working its way up right here, like a little ABC, type situation, and then it could be starting to, a new wave up. So it's right in the middle of this volumetric channel here. So it might get a little push, up to 36. Hey, what's going on, Matt? How are you? Harvey, always good to see you. Merritt, hope everything is okay. Yeah, everything's good. Just curious why you choose Bubblehead. Bubblehead because it's funny, and so I was a nuke in the Navy, and so they call us bubbleheads in that. And then I keep the avatar of the Lego radiation guy, because after I got out, I worked civilian, kind of nuclear sector, and still kind of related to that with some of the projects I run. And so so I kept the kind of the radiation suit on there. So that's where that comes from. And then plus it's kind of interesting, it kind of ties into analyzing, financial bubbles and, things like that. So I don't know. It seemed kind of interesting. What's going on, Bob? How's it going? What's up? What's up, Justin? How's it going? Yeah, tomorrow's Friday. Can you believe it's already Friday? Goodness gracious. I can't believe we've already done 5 days of Elliott wave tutorials. It goes so fast. It's pretty funny. Shirley, what's going on? Merritt, McDonald's? Yep, McDonald's. Well, I just did a full analysis of that, so we know where we're at there. Harvey, are all candles spinning tops? No. Well, today they are on all the 60s pretty much on all the FANG stocks. But Harvey, if you joined the kind of the live sessions a little bit later, I did a bunch. Before jumping in Elliott wave, I kind of was doing a lot of candlestick analysis. Kind of showing like new candlestick patterns and setups. But the big ones are if we just look at Apple, can show some good examples here. In fact, let's look at the weeklies, because they were pretty amazing. If you look at Netflix, right? The weeklies can give a really good clue, and I've tried to develop strategies of, just simply trading off the weeklies, because it's hard when you're at work to trade intraday. You can't really watch the whole price action, but pretty much if you can, not Netflix, which was the one that was great? Was it Facebook? Yeah, Facebook. Look at that. So Facebook's been pretty crazy, right? Like going up. It's like, why is Facebook going up? You know, it's a garbage company and they spy on us and they sell our data and all that stuff. But, you know, technically it's moving. So, but, you know, last week it put in a hammer. So this is a hammer, right? And that's an indication, you know, especially on the weekly, that, you know, you're going to see an up move, right? And of course it did, right? It opened here, now it came back down, you know, it's like, okay, whatever, on Facebook, you know, I stink. But then it broke it again, and it's pushed. I mean, it's gone up like 138 all the way to 144. That's a pretty big move for Facebook, right? So those hammers are really significant. You know, they're also a big tell if they fail to the downside, right? So yeah, so hammers, shooting stars, dojis. If they go flat here, it's kind of a doji, right? It's kind of a you know, southern doji, right? And then anything else besides that is this, well, this is more like a kind of a thick hammer and all that stuff. But this would be like a, you know, potentially like a Yorikiri bar. These are, you know, Yorikiri bar, you know, so those belt hold bars, you know, stuff like that. So if you check out Steve Nissan's book on candlesticks, you'll see all the different, you know, the names and all that stuff. But I've gone through a bunch here on the live streams. What's going on, Clayton? Yep. So that sounds like a good idea for Sunday. So we talked about that a little bit earlier. Yeah, today you did a good job sideline today. I mean, this is choppy, you know. So all I did is just, you know, hold on to my McDonald's. So I'll do, yeah, I do 9:30, you know, every market night, so it's like a school night, you know. So so I don't do a video tomorrow night because there's no, you know, because the market's closed on, you know, Saturday. I don't do it on Saturday night because the market's closed on Sunday. But Sunday I do one because the market's open on Monday. So at the same time, 9:30. Sergey, what's going on for McDonald's? Could it be the beginning of a wave 5 up if wave 1 started on December 26th? Yeah, I mean, it could be. If so, it'd be bullish 185. I agree. And you know, that was you know, I had to take that risk, you know, because otherwise all you do is end up analyzing charts all day, right? And and don't take trades, right? So it's like, I heard a good phrase the other day. It's like, you know, don't confuse decision making with problem solving, right? And so sometimes you just have to make the decision and take the trade versus, you know, solving the problem the whole time. But yeah, certainly this 124 could have been a low. You know, I did theorize that. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, the 169 was a recent low, and the only reason I say that is that with this corrective pattern as being a 5-wave down, it implies that it's a zigzag, right? After if this is and I think you can really argue that this is a 5th wave top, right? And so a zigzag is going to be the 535 structure, right? And so this is, you know, almost a pretty obvious 5-wave structure down, right? And so, and then really is looking like a 3-wave structure up. And I'll be honest, I mean, yes, you know, I did look at that as a potential of going up to like, say, like 187, and it could, I guess. Honestly, I haven't researched this much. I mean, I'm getting a lot, you know, I'm pretty familiar with Elliott wave, you know, enough where I can, you know, kind of teach about it and show some good stuff and plot some good waves. But there's some idiosyncrasies I don't know. Like, I don't know if like the wave B of a zigzag can be an extended zigzag, you know, like, so there's a couple things like that I'm not familiar with, but it's worth, at this point, this is a good learning experience. It's worth researching. But right now, you know, everything still looks okay for it to drop, right? And if, you know, if I have to get out early, if it comes like down here to like 176 or something like that, you know, and gosh, I'd really like it to do it. It's tough. I picked earnings. I picked expiration next week, which is which probably, you know, hindsight, I just really like the price, getting it at 30 cents, having a $500 account, you know, just seemed like a, you know, great opportunity. You know, and I realized I had to move quick, so it really looks like the best chance I can get is like, you know, 175-ish, you know, before these expire, you know. So, you know, I'm going to try to eke out some profit on this one. But if it keeps going, I'll have to analyze it deeper. You know, obviously I'll take my stop at that break of the wave 5 up, and then we'll look and see how it finishes, you know, in a couple weeks, and just, you know, keep it on the watch list and just see what it ends up doing. But yeah, it could be like, you know, this could just be, like you said, this just could be the first wave, you know, and then so that's like it's working on a zigzag, so that's your 5th 5 waves up. Then it's doing an ABC here, and then do another 5 wave up here, like you said, to like, you know, 187, 188, and then go back down. So it is possible. But here it seemed like an okay opportunity. I did all the counts. They all worked up. They all lined up. So and for the most part, I mean, zigzags, like your wave B is not going to be as long as, it seems sensible just the way it retraced and all that stuff. So it's still, I still like the trade. It's just maybe the 118s, I was getting a little excited because of the price, and should have just bought like maybe one $100 put, out to, but then you're going into earnings too. So it's tough. I mean, there's no doubt this is a challenge. So a lot different than trading intraday and trading orbs, or trading momentum, or trading pivot breaks and things, or wedge breaks, or bear flags and bull flags. It's swinging is a lot different. It's definitely a challenge. So yeah. So it could be. You're right. It could be a wave one. Yep, 9:30. What's up, Justin? Heard Overstock is laying off 1/10 of its workforce apparently. That stinks. I always feel bad for that. I've been laid off. I was laid off, That's why I started trading. So, a friend in group chat posted a letter from employer. Yeah, it stinks, man. Yeah, definitely keep an eye on Overstock. Overstock's on my do not trade list. So, but yeah, it's definitely worth watching. Watch the 15-minute orb tomorrow too. Chris, perfect attendance. Nice, Chris. You're the man. I really appreciate your attendance and support. And Justin, you too. Everybody, I appreciate everybody for joining. So I hope everybody's learning stuff, because I know I am. CDC, Modern Picasso. CDC uptrend from recent December lows look corrective to me rather than impulsive. I think it's a large expanded flat, formatting an X wave and a Y will come down soon. Yeah, we'll see. Because there's a theory, right, that I kind of put it out there too, that these wellness stocks are going to do great, if we're in a bear market, right? Because they're going to be like the old days where everybody went to alcohol. Well, now they're going to flood to cannabis type stuff. So that's kind of the theory. So every time I see these wellness stocks go up, it almost kind of confirms like my bearish sentiment. So but yeah, I mean, it could be, this could be corrective, right? So one, right, maybe like you said, A, and then sort of like B, kind of C, type situation. I see what you're saying with the extended flat, and so yeah, and then boom, wave 3 down. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, are any of these ones profitable yet? I don't know, but yeah, so it definitely could be working on that corrective wave. So and if it is, see where it could go. If that were wave 1, it could go, and look, there's a lot of volumetric resistance here. It could get up to 49. So it's still worth watching intraday candles and daily candles to kind of see what kind of setup it's going to do. Let me do a pitchfork on it. Let me see if I can get looks interesting, worth watching. I thought it had such a huge candle yesterday, we'd get some follow through, and we did. So so it's a decent move today, and you could have done 15 orb on that too, and 34 to 38, so 4 points. All right, what else we got? Justin, SNX, after hours earnings, watching the orb. Yeah, SNX. I mean, I don't even know what that is. So I only trade orbs on, and you can do it on anything, man. So I mean, it's it's got a big one here. So this is not one that I typically trade. It's got really low volume, 5,000 shares, right? So you don't want to get caught up in this, right? So I mean, you don't want to be able to not be able to sell shares and all that stuff. So, but yeah, I usually just try to trade big names, like mega cap type stuff, or major, just big famous stuff. What's going on, Kevin? Good to see you, man. HYG. What I trust, iBox, high yield ETF. Let's take a look here. Yeah, big moves here on the weekly, monthly, big green bar, daily strong. I mean, obviously looking very strong. Lots of volume in here, so it's kind of in this volumetric area. So I might try to test 85.5. Back in here. Yeah, look at that. See how that that Pitchfork matches right up with that volumetric level right there. So that's a good target, that 85.50. If you can get a break, if you can catch like an intraday, like it pauses during the day and gives you like an inside 60 or something like that, you can trade that to the upside potentially. But yeah, looks cool. AMD completed a wave 2C. Puts will also be good at the markets. Yeah, man, AMD is fun to trade. It's fun to trade at the open too. In fact, let me look at that to see if we have an orb on that. I feel like we're getting feedback on my microphone, but I'm trying not to talk too loud. Yeah, spinning top close there. Gap down though. That's cool. Let me see what else. Yeah, it's kind of hanging on to that Pitchfork support. 1, 2, 3, right, to form the end of the that Pitchfork pivot. 3. And then maybe A, B, C, 4, and then kind of working on a wave 5, maybe 1, 2. Yeah, if it does go down, it's got earnings coming up pretty soon, but I could definitely see, especially if earnings are bad, I could definitely see it back to $10 pretty quickly. So that would be very interesting. Let's see what we got. Karen, what's going on? Scott zigged and they zagged. What's up, man? David Funches, chart out of focus. I'm sorry. Somebody did recommend, somebody said that before, if you can't see the chart really well, just go to your YouTube and adjust your, it's just to like 720, whatever that's, I can't remember what's it called, your quality, your quality to like a higher quality. They said that helps. That's what I heard. Karen, McDonald's is hard one to short. They got donut sticks now. I know, yeah, exactly. I will say that it is the funnest. It's the funnest stock to trade publicly because just all the gifts and everything. David, the video, yeah, exactly, David. Thanks, Kevin. Manoj, what's going on? David, cool. Kevin, gosh, sometimes this just alright. It just jumps down. That's it for a bit too. Zig, what's going on? You can review one of the 60 anchors, trying to understand how to trade the gap down today, or if it gapped up. Okay, yeah. So let's go back to the anchors from yesterday. I'll pick whichever one you want. So Facebook was an anchor and a 30 orb, I believe, and we might have switched it to a 15. I can't remember. But so Facebook, if we go to the 60 anchor. Okay. Oh, this is the bar chart. So we go to the candlesticks. Okay. So we had a 60 anchor here. So you never chase a gap, right? Trading anchors, right? And let's look at QQQ, see what that did. It's tough because all these were in the same. So you couldn't have traded it there, but you could have, seen that was a nice 60-minute anchor and worked to potentially try to trade that to the upside. It would have been pretty tough. But yeah, you couldn't have traded the anchor on that. I'm imagining most of them were difficult, except for maybe like, let's see, Netflix. Let's try that. But this also helps you too, like not to make any mistakes, in trading. So here, we open low, right, and ended up closing in the anchor, right? So that would have been possible to trade, right? Because that's a huge green bar, right? You're in the 60-minute anchor range. You could have taken a long here over 320, and obviously that would have been going up to 325. There's not a lot of risk there. You were over the VWAP and all that stuff. So this is probably the closest one that could have been traded off of the anchor bars yesterday. Maybe NVIDIA. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it was possible here. So, with NVIDIA, you had your inside 60 anchor here, right? Kind of gap below it, probably, went down. And as it came back up, you could have traded as it started to reclaim that area, right? Or you could have traded the break, right? It wasn't too painful, right? So, your stop would have been, basically either here at the low. So it would have been, total risk would have been $1.16. It was probably under the VWAP at the time, right? But you entered there at 143. And the next bar worked out pretty well, 143 up to 140, almost 145-ish. So 143, yeah, so about 2 points there. Then it went inside, gave you a little bit more, and then kind of came back in. So that was probably a pretty good anchor to trade right there. But it's just watching the price action and how it behaves around that inside 60 bar. And really the reality is it just shows it's just continuity as if you just were still trading, right? All it does is give you a little bit more volatility and a little more volume so you can actually get some big moves off of it, other than maybe intraday news or something like that. Hopefully that helps. Karen, what's going on? Interesting. Sold me Amazon options for profit today. Yeah, well, hey, you made profit, and so that's good. It's always easy to look back, you know. So, but anyway, good job there. Manoj, what's up? J&J, FedEx, and Oxy. So J&J decided, they just put some news out tonight that they're going to raise the price of like a few of their drugs, and so yeah, they're probably just trying to raise money for all the lawsuits they're about to get into for poisoning our children. So yeah, so we have a so weekly, you know, kind of put in this Northern Doji, you know, followed up with, you know, a spinning top kind of Doji and all that stuff, a spinning top week this week. So it's had, you know, some pretty decent movement here, but let's see wave wise how it's looking. A little sloppy, but I mean, I remember trading this when the news came out, and that was just a great short there. It's a daily, and so now what is it doing? You know, you kind of have to assume that this is a. Let me go back to the daily. Yeah, I mean, you assume this is the high, right? I was Elliott waving this one before. Obviously, this could be an expanded flat, so 1, 5, maybe a. That was a bad labeling right there, actually. So assume this is the high. 1, 2. Big 3 down, right? And quite possibly, let's see how it looked. Yeah, so see, that could have been 4. That could be 3 right there. And so if that were wave 3, I need to delete all those, so just forgive me for the mess. If that were 3, and this is about 4. Remember we talked about Fibonacci yesterday. How 4 goes up to about 38.2%. So 4, ABC 4, right? Looks like, and it's right here at the median line of this larger time frame Pitchfork. I mean, it looks lower, right? And earnings maybe are going to be terrible, and this will be like a huge, awesome short again. So that's J&J. FedEx. Oh yeah, thanks for bringing up FedEx. I wanted to talk about that. So FedEx is another way, another combo, you know, type move. You know, bigger picture. Here's your high. There's your high, right? 1, ABC 2, right? 2, and then this looked like a larger wave 3. 1, 2, 3. That couldn't have been 4 because it crossed over here, so that's why I had 1, 2, 1, 2. And this is what I was hoping the overall market is doing, right? Instead of a 4, is it crossing the territory 1? That could be an expanded wave 3, right? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Right, and then here you can see I've already drawn the Fibonacci's there. So that amazingly enough, right, the 4 retracement ends at the gap fill, right, and so that's why it's been on the long list too. So you know, I honestly should have gone here on this first pullback, A, B, long, C, right? It looks like it's working on wave 3 to the upside. So you know, this could be you know, 1, 2. I think it could push, right? So. Where's that? So this might be worth looking at February's. You know, if we have a, you know, if the market's looking strong, February, what is that? 180s, for instance. Let's see how much those cost. February 180s, $2. So a little bit pricey, you know, but we'll keep an eye on it. So, but I mean, it looks like you could double or triple. So that'd be a good start for us. So I think I could get there. And then it's got, you know, if this is 3, right? Like a wave 3 of 3. This thing could be pretty strong. Once it fills that gap, I think it's got some distance to go down. I mean, I don't know why, but I could see it. I could see it getting $100 eventually, maybe 112. I think I tweeted this the other day. I said is 120. I said it can go to 112 in May. So remember that. Oxy. Bullish, right? Because aren't all oil? Isn't everything in oil going up now? You know. It looks good. I mean, it's got a little resistance right here at 68.5. So, but you know, you day trade it. You know, looks like you get up to maybe 73 eventually. So, looks pretty good. Jason, what's up, man? Could you look at BN and CVNA? Sure. Yeah, BN is Banta Corp. Didn't that used to be the Barnes & Noble ticker? I'm not getting any data on it. Let me look at CVNA. What? There. Okay, so Carvana. Yeah, inside month. Could be working on a shooting star weekly. Topping tail yesterday. Went down 34 all the way down to 32, so nice trade there, and then came back up. I've seen some insider selling on this one too recently, so yeah, it looks like it's working its way down. So 1 ABC 2, almost like pretty decent pullback there. So and that's what we're working on 3 right now. So 1, 2, boom. This is a good place to short Carvana. Look at that nice head and shoulders. Yeah, here's your neckline. Right. Yeah, so I broke that down. So that could become like some sort of resistance area perhaps, and it makes sense. Like you got a volumetric level here too. So I mean, look, just keep an eye on this if it pulls back at all. But I mean, if it gets below, here, that's a short right there. I'll put an alert on that. Definitely. Yeah, it's looking very vulnerable right here. I'll try BN one more time. Yeah, it's not coming up, man. I don't know why. Is it an IPO or something and hasn't been released yet? Not sure. Harvey, what's up? What are the names of the 3 wave channels at the bottom of chart? You're talking about these guys here? If you're talking about these, all right. So I did if you go back through my my channel, I did a presentation on RSI versus stochastic versus MACD. So these are all just different indicators, right? And so I did a full lesson on those before. But I mean, for the most part, they're just all they do is take price, and they have different calculations to determine, this, relative strength for this one. Stochastic does a couple of formulas here to calculate the strength of the move of price, another momentum indicator. And MACD, all this is moving averages. This is just your moving averages, right? And then the red and the green, this is the distance between the moving averages, right? So this is your 26 and your 9, right? So yeah, so it's good just for kind of just tracking general trend, right? If we look at moving averages, right, we see, well, the moving average, obviously it's delayed, right? So it comes up and then comes down, and this gives you kind of a flow for what the waves are looking like and all that stuff. It helps you pick pivots, stuff like that. Matt, what's up? O and PG. Okay, cool. Looks good. Retested this volumetric support level and it's coming back up. And kind of well contained here. So might chop around a little bit, but I think overall it looks pretty bullish. These indicators too are looking pretty good too. Even MACD's about to curl over. Everything's pointing up, so it looks bullish. PG. PG's interesting. That popped up on my list. I can't remember if I had like an inside day the other day. Yeah, I had an inside day back there. So took the inside day up, came in, boom, 180 degree move. Gosh, this looks really bearish, doesn't it? So it's kind of this. If we see like a gap down, that would be really bearish. Be like one of those dumpling tops, yeah. Elliott wave wise, take a quick look, just see. If that's a top 1, ABC 2, ready for a wave 3 down. So it's just got to get through 89. Once it gets through 89, it should be good. Could fill this gap. Vive. Really, Scott? Goodness gracious. Yes, Vive is doing awesome. Let's see. Scott's my good friend, y'all, so he jumps on here and has me do extra work. So yeah, Vive is doing good. It is coming up to this this trigger line resistance, so just be careful. It's failed there before, so it's gotta break out if it wants to go any further. Otherwise, it's probably gonna come back down to 90. And then AMRN. Looking pretty good. Yeah, nice breakout there. This is your top, right? So 1, A, B, C potentially, and then boom, potential wave 3 down. Amarin. Is this a pharma type thing? Yeah, that's good. Jesse, what's up, man? Loving this as usual. Appreciate it, man. Do you ever trade SPX? I did when I started trading, and then I lost so much money that I stopped. Like, I just don't go back to it. But yeah, I mean, probably now if I went back to it, I could probably do a little bit better with it, with the, using the hourly time frames and stuff. But, if I'm going to trade indexes, I'll probably just trade like this buy or something like that, because there's so, the spreads aren't so bad. Yeah, the only problem with yeah, exactly, like 4 delta, sure, exactly, yeah. So they just take a while to, yeah, PG just takes a while to move. Just those big stocks too. Same with McDonald's, it's just kind of, it's doing the exact same annoying thing, kind of like McDonald's did, right? So it looks like a 5-wave, zigzag, right? A, B, C up, and then it should zigzag back down again. So, but yeah, that would be interesting. Lots of earnings and stuff. It just gets tricky. You kind of, yeah. Yeah, check that out, definitely. Side note. The avatar and the name is awesome, especially with the story. So, yeah, thanks, man, and appreciate your service, too. Appreciate your service to the country, man. Thalasi, what's up? Oh, it's all good, man. Glad you can make it. My good friend OV. Zig. Patel BH, assuming you have more than one screen when trading from home. Do you trade just from your cell at work? Yeah, I only trade from my cell at work. And then, honestly, I have a laptop at home, so I keep that up, and I use my phone too. But I do intend to, especially if I successfully complete the $50,000 challenge, I do intend to spend a few $1,000s at least to upgrade my workstation at home and get a couple monitors up and stuff. So that's kind of like my dream. You trade just from yourself? Yes. Any tips on trading from one screen? That's what I do. Goal is to get better and financially independent. Yes, that is all of our goals, Zig, and I hope we can all do it together. Yeah, you just got to get quick at it. So it's tough. I would love to have multiple screens so I could see what's going on with the monthly, see what's going on with the weekly, see what's going on with the daily, all simultaneously, and that helps. It really does. But in lieu of that, on the phone, if you guys see those, like the futures when I post that, like on TOS, on Thinkorswim, on the app, it gives you those spark charts, which are really helpful. So that's kind of like looking, at a lower time frame, like almost like the 1 minute, just kind of seeing the instantaneous direction that things are going, and then so that helps to have that there on the phone, and then the screen, if you can kind of click before you make a trade to see what the weekly's doing, and that's what alerts are for too, Zig, and that's why like at night, I go through all the FANG stocks, and I go through and look at the different charts and see what they're setting up. So if it looks like we're about to go into like a prior month level, I'll have an alert there, and that helps too in lieu of having another screen, right? So when the alert pops up on my phone, I'm like, oh yeah, the month is moving. All right, let me look at the daily, let me look at the hourly, see how it's looking, and then jumping in a trade like that. So that helps if you don't have all this stuff. So, Modern Picasso, you had a Big Mac the day you initiated your puts. Nice. Well, that gave them a little extra profit that day. But at this point, hopefully they're going down. So Justin, good point about the big cap stuff. Watch. Yeah, exactly, man. That's, you don't want to get caught in it, right? Because you get real excited and you want to trade like a bunch of things, and just that's just what happens. So yeah, that's why I just like look at the big names, especially when Tesla's got big news, or Google or Amazon. You can catch some pretty, Facebook. You can catch some really awesome moves on those. So, and then earnings, like just common names like Bed Bath & Beyond, American Airlines, like stuff like that. Those are big enough names and they're liquid enough where you can make some money off the orbs on those. So, surely, okay, let's do this. Appreciate the consolidated list, but I'll take a look at all of them any chance I can. Okay, apartment invest and management. Sounds like a good thing to do once you have lots of stock winnings, right? Buy apartments. Cool. Yeah, it's right here at this kind of volumetric resistance level. So, and looks like it's making sense there. So see if that kind of pulls back a little bit and pivots, like right near this this median line. If it does, you might see kind of a drift back here to like 43 before it tries to retest it again to like 46. So that's a possibility. ALSN, let's see how that behaved. Up $1.15 today, so doing good, surely. Nice breakout through the median line, nice push, nice further push here. It's right at volumetric resistance. But any further up, just give some more move. BBL. Nice pivot here, kind of consolidating, look for another move potentially to the downside there. It's the ADR is a little bit tough, to evaluate. BCRX. BioCrest. So yeah, remember this level here that we had? So this median level kind of bounced off of that and is working its way back up. So just look to see how it handles here. Obviously break out of the median, can see some further upside, but if it pivots here, look for another test on this this line here. Look for another test of like 8.42, so it might kind of work that channel a little bit. BRFS. Okay. Nice channel, nice breakout. Nice move. Look for an ABC pullback here to this $6 mark, and then another shot to the upside. CATM. Cardtronics. Nice. Can't remember when the last time we looked at this was, probably the other day, but nice consolidation here at the median line, finally pivoted, broke, got to this volumetric support / resistance area, and then went all the way up to 30. Now it's kind of through it, so just see how it handles that. It might pull back a little bit to 30 even, and then maybe give you another shot at 31.88. CN. Yep, we looked at this before. So again, the same. This is the median line, the middle median line here, right at volumetric resistance. To see if it pivots there, it might come back down to 35, then come back up to 37. It might kind of bounce around in that channel a little bit. Of course, if it breaks down below 35.50, it's got a gap below it here, so it might fill that gap at 34.50. So just watch out for that. Kronos. Yeah, this is where we double pitchforked it because it was like, all right, what's it doing? Yeah, I mean, it broke through, right? Broke through this pitchfork, so now it's in kind of work in the middle of this pitchfork. So look here, bounce, maybe back up to 14, and then kind of work its way up that way. UT. United Transnet. Apparently mine doesn't like loading a couple of these stocks tonight. I'll skip that one. Sorry, Shirley. Alright, so steel. Wow, look at that. Looks very interesting. Alright, there's your high, right? 1 probably here. ABC 2, 3. So that's 3. Look for a retracement to see how, like, I don't do Elliott waves on all of them. I only do the ones that like make sense, right? So I mean, here's an obvious top, right? And looks like it's going down, so like you can start counting waves, right? So what did I do? Yeah, I did here. Sorry, guys. Here to here. Yeah, so look for wave 4 to retrace up to 25, maybe 25.50 before you get your wave 5 pushed down, right? Now wave 5 doesn't have to, it could be truncated, right? But it might stay in this kind of this range here for a little bit, right? It looks like it'll push up though. So watch how it handles 22.50 and then 25.50. So pretty interesting. There's a little volume air pocket in here too. So if it does get through this, right, I can definitely see it going up to 24.25 before it reverses back down. It does have earnings apparently too coming up at the end of the month. Keep that in mind. SWKS. This has been on our various orb lists for the past couple days because of the Apple iPhone stuff. So this is a 30 orb trade today, I believe. Let me see. Let me double check my notes. Yes, this was a 30 orb today. Let's see how it played. Played well. So you guys, on like day 2, day 3, you can look at the 30-minute orbs more than the 15. So here's your 30-minute bar here. Entry. Entry. Over that, right? So 68. Right? For this stock, it's pretty good. 68 to almost a full point, right? To 69. And so that's it. That's the trade. So I mean, the range of this bar is 88 cents, right? So your first stop is here, right? It breaks, you move your stop up to profit. You let it run. As it runs, you keep moving your stop up. Then you can trail by candles. You put your stop here, right? Next one comes back in. You stop out for 68.66. So you make 50 cents on it. But if you had 1,000 shares, it's $500. So, and you risked 800. so that's the risk. It's about 1-to-1 risk reward on it. So, and options, I don't know how they trade. Not too bad. So that's that. Let's just look wave-wise, see what it's doing real quick. It's getting destroyed. One. A. B, C, maybe? That just looks like the wave. That looks like the wave 2. So it's probably some sort of, 3, like ABC, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or something like that. So, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Probably pull back. This just looks lower overall. This will probably be a $20 stock in like less than a year. Simp. Nice. At the top of this volumetric channel here at resistance. At support. So it looks like it could try again at 81. And Microsoft. Yeah, you're bringing some of the big caps in. Let's see. Yeah, this is had a great breakout over the over a prior Pitchfork level, and then we redid the Pitchfork again recently, and so just kind of hanging around here. At this point, originally the count was 1, ABC, 2. Yeah, see this, this invalidates that count. So this is either it could be a a fresh wave 2, and then further down, or is this kind of consolidating and we have to recount it, and it looks like it might go up higher or something. So Microsoft's been a little bit tricky. Let's see how it looks on the candlesticks real quick though. Yeah, inside month, spinning top weak, but it did take this hammer up though over 102, so it did take it up to 2 points off the weekly. And the daily, it's got that. It's still contending with this 200-day moving average, right? Which is also corresponding with the median line here. So having trouble staying above it. So keep that in mind. If we have like a big red day tomorrow, Microsoft could be very shortable. So keep that in mind. And QQQ. inside month. QQQ with the hammer week to the upside, right? Hammer week from 157 all the way up to 161. Green hammer. And again, I've done the same count on this one, sort of like Microsoft, right? So 1, ABC, 2, 1, 2, 3, right? But this could be 1, 2, 1, 2, and then could really push further down. So we'll see. We'll see what they do with it. I'm showing some negative divergence here on the RSI too on the hourly, so that does make this look like a potential pivot. And then if it does pivot, I think we could see down to 155. In fact, if we break down here, see 155 down. I'm gonna put a order on that too. If it gets below 159.50, I think 150.55 could be a good Friday option expiration. So, rookie trader, what's up? How's the S-Bucks FedEx looking now? Yeah, so I think we touched on that a little bit earlier. As we went through those, Starbucks is looking good. It probably gave the best entry a couple days ago. And I mentioned it as a possible one. I didn't take it last Friday because I was just started the challenge. Just kind of wanted to observe everything. Because last Friday it got down to 61.50 and consolidated. This was a good opportunity to get in. And I passed because I wanted to see if it got a little bit lower on Monday and then enter at 61, right? But yeah, it came up. Now it looks like it's kind of working on an ascending triangle in a way. And then if it could break to the upside and keep going. But based on this count, it could be an A B triangle and then come down to a C before going higher. So if it pulls back to like 62-ish, like in this area, it's definitely worth taking a look at for me as getting a long entry on it. And then it might give you an earnings run too. So it might be shortable tomorrow. Did it give us it probably gave us an inside 60 anchor too. Let me see. No, not quite. Not quite. So, but it does look interesting for a long. And then FedEx we just talked about, right? So FedEx has got some good potential to get up to 180 pretty soon. So, expecting rug pull. So I hope so, man. We need it. Jason, AN. That's cool, man. Trust me, dude. I know, I'm so happy I'm trading from home tomorrow, so I don't have to crawl into work. Nice hammer on the 60. That's a decent. AutoNation. I gotcha. Yeah, car biz type stuff. Interesting. So red hammer month prior, it did try to take it higher this time, but hit that volumetric resistance. Spinning top weak. Back in the previous week's range, that makes it very bearish. This is probably very bearish overall, right? So 1, 2, big 3, 4. Let's see what the retrace of that is. 23%. It could reverse here. It could be a wave 4 bottom. 23%. We talked about that yesterday. Could be good. Usually it goes to here, 38.2, but I'm okay with it. It couldn't hold the 50-day moving average, so that's something. Yeah, I think it looks lower. It's all good. Surely UTX was the ticker. Oh, UTX. United Technologies. Yeah, so it couldn't hold that volumetric support there, so it broke down. So I mean, for the most part, this might be the start, right? This is a recent new high, right? You got big volume air pockets in here. This could be wave 1. Look for a wave 2 potential pullback. This could have been the pullback here, wave 1, 2. This could be 3, 4, and then down, to like 83. It looks like it could do it. Looks really weak. Everything looks weak. Slightly overbought, so I mean, I would say that here, the wave 4 would probably go up to, let's zoom in there. And this is your weekly chart. Yeah, it could go up to 113-ish. 113.50 and then down. So that's how I see it there. Yeah, and it concurs on the daily. So yeah, 113 and then down. That's how I'm seeing it. So with earnings coming up, I mean, I wouldn't trade into earnings, right? But with earnings coming up, it might come out to 113, then horrible earnings and bring it right back down. So that'd be pretty interesting. Hey, Skyburst. All right, Kevin, have a good night, man. Shirley. Yeah, QQQ 175. Yeah, it could. I mean, definitely. Hey, Skyburst. Shirley Lewis didn't feel like doing a lot of tickers tonight. Thank you, Shirley. I appreciate it. But no, that was good. That was perfectly manageable. And look, it's before 11 o'clock, so I can get a good night's sleep. But appreciate everybody sticking around for through the chart requests. Really appreciate all the participation. I think we had a great. Hope everybody learned some stuff this week with Elliott Wave, and then looking forward to showing a little bit more about on Sunday about kind of how I look at trades intraday, and then kind of putting things together. So appreciate everybody. Hope you have a great night and good trading day tomorrow. I'll trade live at the open tomorrow, so you'll see me jump on and I'll tweet out that I'm live at the open, and we'll see if we can find some good trades and just kind of at least see what's going on with the market. Not too many 60 anchors to look at for the open, but surely some 15 orbs that we can make some money on. So have a great night, everybody, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.